Welcome to the Darren to Share podcast, where my goal is to bring valuable, experience-based information to my friends, family, and peers. And on this episode, we'll be talking about investing. So here's a quick disclaimer before we get started. Do your own research. These words are brought to you by the Darren to Share podcast, and our content is intended to be used and must be used for informational purposes only. It is very important to do your own analysis before making any investment based on your own personal circumstances. You should take independent financial advice from a professional in connection with or independently research and verify any information you find on my show and wish to rely upon for the purpose of making an investment decision or otherwise. Please do your homework. Please do your research. This message is brought to you by the Darren to Share podcast, as well as my guests O'Neal and Kodi. Thank you for listening. Please comment, like, and subscribe. And down below, please list one of the best investments you've made and one of the worst investments you've made, as well as a piece of advice for someone who's just getting started out. Thank you guys for listening. Let's get to the episode that way.
We in it.
We in it. You get me.
We in it.
Yes, sir.
You know that. You know that.
Big ups.
Big up.
Big ups them.
You know that.
Alright guys, I'm about to get this started. What's up guys? Welcome to the Darren to Share podcast. This is going to be another episode with my boys Kodi and O'Neal. We're just going to talk about the things that worked for us and the things that are continuing to work for us, and not to be scared to start investing. So that's kind of the basis of this conversation. I got a lot of questions lately about investing and how can I make my money make more money? What are you doing? Are you on Robinhood? Do you invest in crypto? These just a lot of random questions, and we are more so passive investors. We don't do this every day. We're not day traders, but you are able to make money on your investments and not have to do it full time, right? You can do it part time. You can invest a small amount of money. It doesn't have to be thousands of dollars. So I wanted to do this podcast to just kind of talk about that, because these guys have been very successful in that aspect and passively. So yeah.
Big ups.
Hold up.
Big ups them. All right, guys. So let's get this started. If you guys don't mind following and subscribing on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook at Darren to Share podcast, Kodi at Kodalina.
Yes.
Yes. On Instagram, and O'Neal, you can say your handle
at KENA.MB, Kenna.MB.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Ski and Darren. Okay. All right. So let's talk about it. What is investing?
Investing is letting your money work for you.
Yep, I think investing is taking a calculated risk to get a return.
Yes.
Definitely.
It is your dollars are soldiers. Mm-hmm. There's a book called The Richest Man in Babylon, and that's what it talks about in the book. It's like one of the most fundamental ideas is that really, really smart people, they make their dollars work for them. They don't work for dollars. They make their dollars work for them. And that's what investing is.
Yeah.
So you think of your dollars as little soldiers, and you make them go make more soldiers for you. And that's what investing is to me. You know. And how do you guys get introduced to investing?
I got introduced to investing about when I first started at Samsung, my first company. One of my friends, Cheng Hoon, this Asian dude, super next level dude. Just knows. Like, he told me, he's like, hey, buy this, buy that. And I was like, man, I don't have extra money like that. Pay my loans. So it's like it's something all goes just like, man, do I really have extra money to invest in this? You know, like I didn't know anything about investment, because a lot of us didn't really, at least me personally, like I don't know, like none of my family really invest, stock market. Right. So I was like, sure, why not? Let me throw $20 in here. Yeah. I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. That's how I got introduced to investing. And when I started learning more and reading more and like taking the time to really understand like what I'm doing, and like that's when I really started like, okay, oh shit, I'm making some money from this. So that's how I got started.
Yeah.
What about you, O'Neal?
I got started so I've always known about investing, but I didn't really know like how to do it. I mean, I always saw Robinhood and I saw stocks. I saw that things always took an upward scale. You know, you buy, you sell, but I didn't really know how to do it. But when I graduated from college, that's when I started looking more into real estate, just because of my aunt. She is a real estate developer and investor, and she was the one who really influenced me to start on that path. And that's when I first got it started into not a stock side of investing, but an investing of like real estate.
Gotcha.
So I started doing that, and then the same year I graduated too, I got caught on like blockchain and not Bitcoin, but like certain kinds of cryptocurrencies and just seeing how they work. And I chose one and started investing in that one, and now it's been doing pretty well. So it's just like building the building block off of what I started with in 2018.
That's really good.
Yeah.
2018, and like what year for you, Kodi?
2017 or 20 when I started working. 2016. 2017. That's when I really like actually put money to it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Man, well, for me, it was Bitcoin when it shot up. I don't know if y'all remember when Bitcoin went from like $3,000 to $10,000, and everybody went crazy. That is when I was like, okay, what is this?
Yeah.
And this was before I started working. This was like maybe college, end of college, something like that. And then I found Coinbase. So I opened a Coinbase account, and for you guys that don't know, Coinbase, you can download that right now, and it's where you can purchase crypto coins. So me and my brother just messing around. We didn't know anything about investing, nothing, but Bitcoin, we just hopped on the wave. And sometimes there's nothing wrong with hopping on the wave if it's working, right? So we opened Coinbase accounts, and we just put $100 in there, whatever. Forgot about it for a year, whatever. And then I found about Robinhood. And I found out about Robinhood. I really don't remember, bro, but I'm sure it was my environment. Somebody said something just from the people that I was around, and I downloaded Robinhood. I opened up a Robinhood account. And then from there, coworkers, they were like, oh, I'm investing in this. They start saying terms and stuff that I didn't understand.
Yeah.
But I would act like I was like in the conversation. Like,
listening to it.
Just, you know. I just put $20 in that too, you know. Negative. I was big cap.
So you made 10,000? Yeah, me too. Me too.
I was big cap. So yeah, coworkers got me into like Robinhood, and then I started to put $100, $20, $30, $100, whatever. And this is again before I knew what real investing was. So that's where I started. So it sounds like we have a pretty similar story. We kind of heard about it through other people sometimes, or maybe through trends, and we were like, all right, I don't want to miss out on this. Fear of missing out. You know what I'm saying?
Oh.
So, all right, now that we know what investing is, we know some of the platforms. What platforms are y'all on?
For me, I use EXTrade, Robinhood, Coinbase, and this decentralized exchange called Uniswap.
Oh shit! I'm just learning about some of this stuff right now. I don't know what Uniswap is. All right, bet. Okay, so tell me real quick, just break down what all those are and how they're beneficial.
So E-Trade.
And how can you download them?
So E-Trade, you can just download it on your phone. That's where I just put in like stock companies or companies that I want to invest in for the long term. Robinhood, that's more for like quick trades or something I'll hold for a couple of months, and you can download that on my phone, on your phone as well. Coinbase, that's where you can really find your easiest way into cryptocurrency and blockchain to invest in. But Uniswap is a more wide base. There's more variety of blockchain and cryptocurrencies that you can invest in with Uniswap, and you can't get that on your phone. You actually have to download one account to be your personal crypto wallet, and then connect that to your Uniswap, and then you can start exchanging like cryptocurrencies and stuff.
And that's on a PC.
Yeah, that's on PC.
So what does it just have? You said what does a decentralized market mean?
That's
good.
Yeah.
So decentralized means that there's no one institution that can control like your transaction or your fees. It's all across multiple nodes that have to come into agreement, and they validate the transactions that you make. And the transactions that you make is always recorded and can be brought back up for anyone to see if it's public. With something like Robinhood or E-Trade, transactions like that are all withheld in E-Trade or Robinhood, so it's like centralized.
Yep.
And I mean, we've seen the ramifications of centralized institutions with Wells Fargo whenever they started. I can't cuss, can I?
You're good.
Oh, when they started with people's identities and making different accounts. With Facebook, which is an institution, and they started messing with people's data. Blockchain technology is really a way to decentralize and distribute the power so that not one institution has all the say.
So for those who aren't familiar, that's crypto.
Yeah.
That is what Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, these companies are called crypto coins. It's cryptocurrency. It's essentially algorithms and code that produces like a transaction. So basically what cryptocurrency is a way to a ledger. It's a way to say I paid O'Neal $100 and O'Neal confirmed that I paid him $100. There's no cash exchange. It's literally a digital communication essentially. And that code is encrypted and it's how do you say unique?
Yeah.
It's not multiple. You can't copy it. It can't be copy and pasted and say I paid O'Neal 2 times $100. It can only be one time and it can be I guess you can say justified.
Yeah.
It can be proved. It can be time stamped and it's unique. That's what crypto is.
Right. And without going like too deep.
Yeah, we don't need to go too deep right now.
It's like the Web 3.0 is how they describe it. And what blockchain technology serves as a median where data can be exchanged between 2 or more parties.
Yep.
And that data is now stored, and it is stored into something that we call an immutable ledger so that it can be valid and verified by anyone. So now if a transaction does happen between you and I, then it can't be modified. It's happened. It won't be changed. People can see it. People can't try and hack it or try to manipulate it because there's so much back data that led up to our transaction that is still recorded. It will take forever to try to hack something like that. So when you're working with blockchain and then you're introducing cryptocurrencies, different blockchain companies, they act and operate with different coins. So Bitcoin is a blockchain technology. Chainlink is a blockchain project that operates with Link, which is their coin. So whenever transactions are done on Link, they're done. Whenever transactions are done through Chainlink, they're done with that cryptocurrency, which is Link.
Yep.
And you're able to invest in that, trade it for another, and just build profits off of it.
So that is cryptocurrency 101. That's probably as deep as beginners are going to want to go right now. And that's pretty deep, right? And you can purchase these coins through Coinbase, and Link is available on Coinbase.
It is.
And that is what you're purchasing when you buy a crypto coin.
Yeah.
You're buying one Link, it's worth a certain amount, and it's that, I guess, the transaction that was just described, basically.
Yeah.
And the crypto coin is just like a stock. It'll increase in value and it'll decrease in value. You make profits when it increases in value, and you lose. It's a loss when it decreases in value, just like a stock. So that's what crypto is.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. O'Neal, I like that. That was really good. All right, Kodi, talk about how you've been investing.
So it's interesting. Before, so like I had really gotten into like because I had read a book, and I was kind of more so into like stocks, versus like more so crypto. And I was like really reading into like, okay, how do you do this? Kind of like what companies, how do you value things like that? And I'm by no means an expert, but when I really got into it, I kind of understood like what do because for me personally, like when I invest in companies that I believe in, and I know what they're doing. Yeah. Like data is something that I'm really into, so I invest in companies who are really big into like data, changing data, machine learning, like AI, things like that.
Bro, what's an example?
Fastly.
Yep.
So Fastly was a cloud computing company who they essentially help. I'm not, I guess, define this in the best way, but they help like companies like TikTok. That was one of their biggest clients, where they help them scale their technology as far as like how they store their data, how they scale their data, things like that.
All right. So how did you find out about Fastly?
Just reading, bro. Like
reading what?
I just read. So every day I would wake up and I would go to the news app and I'd go straight to the business app, like the business, and I read everything about, all the 5 things you need to know about the market today. I read that, then I'd go into another link, read everything about that. And that was all that shit I was always sharing. Like I was literally all just reading about all these different companies, and that's how I would like learn about what these companies were doing. And then before when I started investing, I was like, oh, Netflix, Facebook, Amazon, Google. Of course, when you're new to it, like nothing wrong with investing in those companies because they're always, they're gonna keep gaining.
Those are what I look at as longevity companies.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
So like a company like Netflix, Facebook, there's a lot of companies like that, just solid, been around for a long time. They don't have significant gains. They're just consistent,
exactly.
Year over
they're
year.
Stable.
They're stable. So I would put some money in there, and I expect to see 10% a year.
Yep.
Or
some increase. Yep.
Something like that. But a company like Fastly
is that's a risky company, because when TikTok had the whole situation where they were gonna, Trump was like, you guys need to change ownership from China to you. They dropped, but because like I had been kind of keeping track, like I got in it when they had really made like the big bull run, and then I got out of it when they started declining. So like for me, like it was just a lot of like reading and learning. Okay, like what are they doing, and me finding companies that like I believe in what they're doing. Like I know what, not just like you told me about Redfin. Yeah, you know what I'm saying. Like, and you know about that because like you know about real estate. You know what I'm saying. So it's like you're investing in things that you're kind of you're kind of a subject matter expert. Like you kind of know what they're doing, and
you use it,
and you see the value.
Yep.
So like for me, that's what I would invest in, is like things that like I'm like, okay, I see what you're doing. I kind of understand what you're doing, and I see the value in what you're doing.
All right. So when did you start So what did you start out investing? Like, cause like for me, I was like same way. I didn't have a whole bunch of money to just start investing.
Exactly.
So I was scared. I didn't know what was going on. I was new. I'm like, am I gonna lose my $100, $200? What did you start investing, and when did you feel comfortable? Like, all right, I'm gonna put a $500, $1,000 into that, because we're doing that now, but we didn't start out doing that.
Man, when did I really get comfortable? There was a time where I was really just, probably mid last year. I just had a lot of time where I was just really focused on just, I don't know, learning. I don't know what happened, but I think COVID. When COVID hit, there was, of course, like all these companies were dropping. Companies that I couldn't afford before, like to buy as much as I could. And I was like, oh, this is a good opportunity to capitalize. So that's when I really was like, okay, this is a time where I can kind of put more money into these companies. And even
what's more money? I want to get real specific.
Like numbers?
Yeah.
Okay. So
so
cool. So when I first started investing, I was putting maybe like $100 here, $200 here, and when I started getting more comfortable, I was like, okay, cool. I have enough. I'm put a G down. You know what I'm saying? Or okay, I like this. I believe in this company. I'll put 2,000 down. And I got really, so this might be a little too daring for you, but when I really started like seeing a lot of gains and like getting really comfortable, like I started investing money for people. So I was investing for my aunt who's a doctor, then like 2 other friends, and like I was like, oh shit, like I'm kind of nice with this.
Yeah.
And that's when I started putting money into my account. And the most money I put in my account, I just say that. I mean, I'm not gonna say how much money I put, but I just got my new job at Apple, and I was transferring my 401k from Samsung to Apple, and I was like, this is a lot of money I have in here.
Yeah.
And it's not really scaling like that. So I took half, and I just threw it in my investment account. And
Charles Schwab. Is that what you
yeah, Charles Schwab. Yeah, I use Charles Schwab.
Oh, because you use Charles Schwab.
I use Charles Schwab.
You don't use Robinhood.
I use Robinhood. Yeah, I use Charles Schwab. Yeah.
That's a good note.
Yeah, yeah.
So you don't have to use Robinhood. Robinhood is the most popular.
Yeah.
I would say it's the easiest to get into. That's where I started. And that's where I'm still at.
Yeah.
And that's where you can see gains anywhere.
Yep.
So you use Charles Schwab.
I use Charles Schwab, yeah. And I use Charles Schwab because, I don't know, no particular reason. I really just wanted to be different. Honestly, that was the only reason. I was just like, I see where everybody else using it, and I was like, I'm just gonna be different. I'm gonna use Charles Schwab. That was really the only reason. I just want to try to do something different.
I saw that. I saw you were using Charles Schwab, but I didn't.
Because
I thought it was a reason because maybe you had a retirement.
It was. I mean, they have. I read into it. I mean, I did a little more research. Like they have, as far as like, I mean, most after Robinhood forced everybody to like really like not have like costs when you're buying stock. So Robinhood changed the game because a lot of these companies had to adjust what Robinhood was doing. But Charles Schwab was just as far as like the education. Like, cause like I learned a lot within the app, like news about stocks, why it's going down today, why it's going up today. Robinhood has that too, but Charles Schwab is very detailed as far as like in the customer support, things like that. Like
it's a larger company.
Yeah.
A lot more established.
And they were open like a lot of times I didn't know what was going on. I called them like, yo, why is my account doing this? Why is this? You know what I'm saying? They'll pick up anytime and answer my questions. So it was really like a lot of the customer support piece that I liked about them. And also I want to be different. So it was like those two things. But yeah, so I got in, and the biggest, when I started seeing gains and investing money for people, things like that, I decided, I was like, okay, now I have this amount of 401k in my account. I don't recommend this for everybody. You know, you have to know what you're doing. I took half of it and I just put it in my investment account. And I mean, it worked out.
All right.
So, but that's like,
so when you started,
that was a big jump. That was my biggest jump.
Got you.
Was putting
your 401k
account. half my 401k
when you were changing companies.
When I was changing companies, because
I don't believe in pulling any money out of your 401k, and this is only for like people who have 401ks.
Yes.
A lot of people don't have 401ks.
Yeah.
We are blessed enough to have a 401k, but I don't touch my 401k. But it makes sense if you're shifting companies and you're transitioning that money.
And the reason,
does it get taxed?
No.
That's a good question.
Mine, I had so many calls. The money I took out wasn't taxed.
Okay.
And the reason I felt comfortable doing,
or a regular 401k.
I think it was Roth. I don't remember now. I had so many different conversations before getting that happen. Sometimes I just forget. So, but it wasn't, the money I took out wasn't taxed. Okay. And the reason I felt comfortable doing that, for those who are like, oh, let me take my 401k out right now. Don't. I don't recommend doing it, but I had gotten some stock and I was like within my new company, and I was like, oh, like this, which way over covers what I have in my 401k. So that's why I feel comfortable. I don't recommend people to do that. So don't see Darren Share podcast. Take out my 401k.
Oh yeah. By the way,
because of you.
we are not financial experts. This is not financial advice. We are just talking. Okay? Do not do
it.
You can't come back and say we told you to do anything without your own research. We're not telling you to do anything, but we're just talking about our own experiences. Okay? We are not financial experts. This is not financial Advice. I think most people do disclaimers like that. I watch YouTube videos.
I'm not a CPA. I'm not a financial.
I'm not a CPA. I'm not an accountant.
I only did it because
it was working.
I was like, it was working.
It made sense.
And I had some security in the stock I got, so I was like, I'm good.
One thing I learned is if it makes sense, it makes sense.
It makes sense to you. That's it.
If it makes sense for you, it makes sense. Literally.
Then that was to answer your question. That was my biggest jump into like, okay. I'm good at this. I'm gonna just dump this money here, and it wasn't stupid with it. It worked.
What accounts do you use right now, real quick?
Charles Schwab and Coinbase.
Okay.
Yeah.
Charles Schwab and Coinbase.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yep. So,
okay.
Yeah.
That's good, bro. That was really good advice. And for me, it's Coinbase, Robinhood, Acorns, and a friend.
I use Acorns.
Acorns.
He put me on.
Yeah. Acorns is good.
Is cool.
Acorns. Yeah.
So I'll talk about the progression of how I started investing. Coinbase was number one when Bitcoin boomed. There's nothing wrong with following a trend. It's real. So when Bitcoin blew up 3-4 years ago, I bought Bitcoin. I bought Chainlink. I bought all these things. And I had no idea what I was doing. I left my account vacant. I just left it. But the app got timed out on my phone when I got a new phone. Because I just wasn't thinking about it. And this was like maybe 2 years ago, a year ago. And then one day I was like, oh, wait. I did have a Coinbase account. And this is when I had downloaded Robinhood after I found out about Robinhood, right? And then I checked my Coinbase account. I was like, what? Bro, I had more money than I had put in, obviously. And I was like, whoa, this is a real thing. But anyway, I got into Robinhood. And I got into Robinhood because of my peers, people I was around, just saying things. And then when I was investing in Robinhood, like you guys, I started out with $20, $30, $100, $200. But when I started to invest more money is when I saw that I wasn't losing. You know what I'm saying? This is maybe a year in, year and a half in. If you diversify your stocks, you're going to make 7%, right? The market average is 6 to 7%, something like that. And I was making more than that because we are somewhat savvy investors. If you're not a very savvy investor, you'll make the market average. Yeah. You'll make 6%, 7%. 6-7% is better than zero. So that's when I started putting more money into it. When I started seeing 15%, 20%, I was like, all right, I can put in $800, $500 into this, $400 into this because I know I'm going to make a return on my investment. That's when I started investing more money. And then with Robinhood, it makes it very easy. It was a very simple platform. It was on my phone, and I felt comfortable just transferring money and knowing that it would grow. Yeah. And then I surrounded myself with people like y'all. So, Kodi, you will put things in the chat. I trust you. I trust you. So I would just buy it. Like, I would do my research for a couple minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, whatever. And then I'll say, okay, this makes sense for me too. And I trust they've done their research, so I will buy it. And this is just additional stocks on top of the companies that I invested in because I believed it. A good example for me is Spotify. I bought Spotify a long time ago.
You put me on Spotify.
And Spotify, I was listening to Spotify. Everybody's talking about Apple Music. I was on Spotify since college, like since 2000, whatever. So I was like, okay, that's the first company I probably invested in was Spotify. And it was because I believed in it, like you said. So the companies who have made me personally the most money is companies that I use. Yeah. So Spotify, Palantir, you put me on the Palantir. When he put Palantir in the group, I didn't know anything about Palantir. That's why it's so important to surround yourself with good people because it ends up producing a good network and it helps build your net worth.
Network is your net worth.
Is your net worth. So when you said Palantir, I looked it up for 30 minutes. I didn't have to spend a whole bunch of time. That company makes sense to me, and I know he did his research. Put money in there. Yep. Guess what? Made it.
Tenfold.
Made it, and it's little things like that because I had built up the trust in investing. I built up the trust in my friends, and that has worked out for me. And how I invest is what I believe in and just what makes sense for me, right? And then I put more money in based on how much I believe in the company, how much I believe in the CEO. That's why Tesla is so successful. Yep. People really believe in Elon. They really believe in him because he's proven it. So I do Robinhood. I consistently do Robinhood. Coinbase, my Coinbase account has outpaced my Robinhood account. crypto has outpaced my Robinhood account by a significant amount. Mm-hmm. I'm just now starting to put more money into my Coinbase than into my Robinhood account. And Robinhood is traditional stocks, right? You buy your Teslas, you buy Facebook, Palantir, Spotify's, yada, 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 right? So I have Coinbase, Robinhood, and then Acorns. My brother put me on Acorns, I think. Acorns, when I saw Acorns, by the way, is an app that it'll round up to your nearest dollar and invest that for you. That's right. Their shtick. That's how they're different. They invest up to the nearest dollar. So when I did open up an Acorns account, I was putting $30, $40, $15. But then I saw the percentage. It was like 10%, 11%. I'm like, why am I not putting more money into this? So I started just putting more money into into Acorns like I would put into a Robinhood or a Coinbase account. And I knew my money was going to grow to 6%, 7%, 8%. And it doesn't have to be a lot of money. Yeah. $100, if you make $8, that's profit. That's passive income. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of people have been DMing. They see us doing this, and they've been DMing me, you, whoever, asking how to get started. You don't have to start with a whole bunch of money.
You don't.
$100, if you make $108, that's better than $100.
Yeah.
So that's how I looked at Acorns account. My Acorns was making 10%, but I only had a couple $100 in there. I'm like, if I put in a G or put in $100, I'm going to make X amount more. Yeah. So that account has been averaging 11%, 12%, whatever. So that's my Acorns account. And then I have a firm. So I have a high interest savings account because your regular savings account only earns 0.00%. So I found a high interest savings account. So I put money in there. It earns me 2%. You know, that's a passive way to make 2%. So now you add up your 2%, you add up your 11% Acorns, your whatever percent in Robinhood, your whatever percent in Coinbase. Now you're making passive income.
Yeah.
So this all happened for me over the span of 2 to 3 years. It wasn't a year. It wasn't 6 months. It took time. I was very slow, and it was a lot of intentionally listening to people and learning. Mm-hmm. Learning how to choose companies to invest in and companies that make sense, you know.
You really have to trust the company's vision.
Yeah, and anybody can do it.
Yeah. Anybody
can do it. So now I'm starting to look into options because that's the new crave, and it makes sense if you can spend the time to learn it, and you make actually exponentially more money. But investing to me is just anything that's going to earn you more than 0%.
Yeah.
That's the way I look at it. Period. So what has been, so we'll go through real quick and then we'll wrap it up. What has been y'all's like best investments?
Oh,
Chainlink.
Crypto.
Crypto. Yeah. Cryptocurrency. I think it's gonna, like crypto, yeah, it's good to invest in crypto. But I think the whole idea behind blockchain is something that's very early, and its potential is like, no one knows its potential right now.
Yeah.
And it's just like the beginning of the internet era, where there was a bunch of companies that were, you know, bullshit, but everyone still uses the internet to this day. Yeah, there were companies that didn't make it, but you see how the world has been changed because of the internet. Blockchain's in that space right now where like companies there's some bullshit companies, and you just have to sift through the ones that you actually can see working in today's society, or maybe wherever the future society is heading. And that's when you start to gain trust in the company. You see what projects they're working on, then you gain belief in it, and then that's when you can make that decision. Okay, yeah, I want to invest in you. So cryptocurrency is something that's been very interesting to me for some time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No, that's really good. To speak to that, I was doing some research on crypto, and one thing I learned is that it's not just about the coins right now. Mm-hmm. Literally, the blockchain is insane. It's like a concept that currently, if you purchase something, there's all these people you go through, the cash, the banks, boom, boom, boom. It takes X amount of time, right? But with crypto, it's instant.
Yeah.
It's the second, let's say your flight is late and you need a refund, that takes X amount of time right now. that's time wasted.
Right.
But with blockchain, crypto, if the plane doesn't take off, instantly something happens. You receive your refund.
Right.
Instantly.
Right.
So the future always goes towards convenience and cutting wasted time.
Yep.
So that's why crypto and blockchain is so important. And that's crypto or just hit $1 trillion.
Yeah, it did whenever it was on that bull run, but then I don't think it's at $1 trillion right now anymore.
But
it'll be there again. It'll be there
again.
Honestly, thinking like 20 years, this kind of technology is what's gonna disrupt big companies like Facebook and Google and all these what's called monopolists.
And guess what they're doing?
They're in crypto too.
Facebook has a coin.
Yeah.
Or they're trying to establish a coin.
Yeah, and it's not like one day. I mean, it could happen, but I don't believe it's gonna happen. That it's blockchain is just gonna vanish from the earth. It's not gonna happen. I don't think it's gonna happen. Like, this is something new that people are still getting comfortable with, and it's like if you start early. I mean, you see Amazon used to be at 50 cents a share, used to be at $3 a share. Look at it where it's now. So
thousands. What do you think, Cody? What's your best investment advice? What's worked the best for you?
What's worked the best for me is listening. Listening to when people tell me things. When O'Neal tells me invest in this, like you mentioned, because we trust each other. You know what I'm saying? And of course we do our own research. But if I know none of us are stupid, and you say, hey, invest, because I made him I don't like fear of missing out. A lot of people have that, and this is a thing where it's like you see something going up and like, man, I should have invested in this a while ago. This is this. Chang Hoon had told me to buy.
Chang Hoon is a really good investor.
Yeah,
right?
A really good investor.
Coworker.
Yes, and
he's
really good at it. And he told me to buy Ethereum. Yeah, like 3 years ago.
Yep.
And it was back then. It was cheap. Now it's like what, $1,300?
$1,200.
Back then,
$1,200.
And I was like, I don't know. I don't know. I texted O'Neal. I said, bro, I could have bought, but at the time I was like, man, I can't do it. This. Maybe I go on 6th Street and spend, you know what I'm saying, buy shots, whatever. Like, if you trust people that you know, like, listen to the advice. So listening, and then so that's just that piece, listening, and then for me, the thing that's got me the most money back is Tesla, because when the split happened, I was like, I can't miss out on this. You know, like, because, like, you know, like you talk about, like, you believe in Elon, you believe in the company. It's gonna go up, it's gonna go down, but it's gonna be up. Mm-hmm. Tesla is a company of the future. Like, they're not just gonna stop at cars, they're not just gonna stop at rockets. Like, they are. Elon Musk is a futuristic name. It's that shit you see in movies where he's on a billboard and he's like, president of the world. You know, type shit. Of the world. Like,
of all the inner galaxies.
Of the globe. Like, Tesla is gonna be that company, bro. And one of my friends, he does investment banking type shit. He was just like, yeah, like, bro, I'm throwing. I don't have the kind of money to use. I'm throwing $20,000 in Tesla every month. And I was like, what? And he was like, and I was like,
everything is relative.
Everything's relative.
Everything's proportional.
But to me, the fact that he said he's gonna put that much money into Tesla, I was like, say less. Throw everything.
And the kitchen sink and the bathwater.
That shit. I said, whoa.
Yes.
It's so fun to see. Like,
it's fun to see, bro. Because you see that, you're just like, what?
Yeah.
It's soldiers.
Like, y'all. Yeah.
It is soldiers.
Y'all have seen it, so that's, you know.
That's worked out.
Yeah.
I think it's good to also, like, educate yourself on those companies, because before,
that's
like,
major.
When Chang Hoon was like, all right, do Ethereum, you're like, I don't know. When someone tells me a company, I'm like, man, you just smoking something. But when you read about the companies, you're like, okay, it makes sense for me to do it.
It does.
So it's like, educate yourself on what the company is.
That's major.
What they're doing and what their future plans are.
Yep.
And then it makes sense.
It does.
Facts.
For me, man, I always tell this story. There was one day I had opened my Robinhood account, and I had a coworker who had been investing for 10 years. He opened his account. I accidentally saw what he made that day. In my account, I made $40 that day. $20 to $40, whatever it was. His account, $39,000 that day. That's when I knew this was possible.
Yeah.
And people aren't any smarter than anyone else, right? It's just how much time you spend to figure it out.
Mm-hmm. Facts.
So
Facts.
that put the battery in my back to say, I can do this too. And that has worked out for me thus far. We have done well for ourselves in a short period of time just because we were willing to learn and take the risk. Mm-hmm. And that's what I'm all about. And that's what I want to share to people who have the same questions that we would have had 2 years ago, a year ago, that are having those questions right now. Mm-hmm. Don't be afraid. It's not the end of the world if you lose $2,000. Mm-hmm. It's not the end of the world if you lose $500, $100. Mm-hmm. Everything is relative. Work within your bounds. What makes sense.
Big facts.
And what you can afford. Saving account is number one. I don't touch a savings account. Certain amount of money I have, I keep it there, and I don't invest. I don't play with that. No. That's there for emergencies. Mm-hmm. And then on top of that, we're blessed to have 401ks. That's also an investment account. One of my mentors told me, you need to pay attention to your 401k because you pay somebody to invest your money for you. Just don't ignore your 401k if you have a 401k. You can go sit down with Fidelity and tell them where to invest your money. That's one thing I have not done yet, but it's an option that our people don't know. This information only gets passed down to certain people, and we need to pay attention to stuff like that. So we're blessed to have 401ks. If you have a 401k, pay attention to it. If you're not, it's okay. Save your money and then have money that you're going to invest. Everything is relative. Everything is proportional. So that's one thing that I've been working in my life. Making sure my proportions make sense and then taking risks while I can. Because like you said, now is the time. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And the chance of losing is much smaller than the gain that you have to have. Mm-hmm. I've lost money. You've lost money. We've all lost money. I've lost when the corona hit, March 26th. I will never forget the date. Thousands. And had I sold that day, I would not be where I am now. In that sense, because I would have panicked. That's one thing I wanted to say too. Don't pay attention to this all day. If you check your account every day, red one day, green one day, red one day, don't look at that. Every trend over 5 years looks like this. Yeah. Almost every trend. Yeah. Over 2 years, think the long game. That's one thing that I've learned when investing. Think about the long game. If you're trying to go for these quick money grabs, you can do options trading but that's a lot of stress and it's unnecessary stress. If you invest consistently and diversify. Mm-hmm. Invest consistently and diversify. That's why I have 4 accounts. I have Acorns that makes a percentage. I have Robinhood that makes a percentage. I have Coinbase that makes a percentage. I have a high interest savings account that makes a percentage. I have a 401k that makes a percentage. That's 5 accounts. I don't put all my money into one account, 2 accounts. I spread it out. That is one thing that I've learned that's worked for me and that I would tell anybody to do. You don't have to put all your eggs in one basket. Average and invest consistently. If you invest $100 every single month, you're buying here 1 month, but then you're buying all the way down here 1 month, you're going to average like this. Yeah. So consistent investing is very important. And don't move based off of emotion, and you don't move based off of too much of the hype. Mm-hmm. Too much of the hype. That's what I would say, and that's what I would say has worked for me. And again, remember, everything is relative. Everything is perspective. Invest what you feel comfortable investing and what you can afford to invest. Yep. Bro, I appreciate y'all guys, honestly, sharing and teaching me something. I'm not gonna lie, you guys have made me money. Thank you. And the life is not about money, but if you're gonna earn money, you might as well make your money make more money.
Yeah, facts.
So I appreciate you guys. Do you have any last words about investing that you would tell your early self about investing? What's one tip?
I would say don't stress out about what you missed out on. Because that's what happens a lot. That's what happened to me personally. Where I'm like, oh, I could have gone into this earlier. I could have. Coulda, woulda. It's like you're exactly where you need to be right now. Like there's a reason you got into like investing right now, like what you're doing right now. Like whatever you missed out on, that wasn't for you. That wasn't for you. So don't stress about what you missed out on because you know exactly where you need to be. So yeah, that's what I say about that because that's a big stressor for some people.
I would have told myself there's always opportunity. It just depends, are you willing to look? Like Kodi was saying, I mean, sometimes we have that fear of missing out because we see how much we could have made if we invested back then. But if we're more forward thinking and looking at opportunities that are presenting itself today, then we'll be in that same position where we want to be 5 years from now. So right now it's just looking at what I have right now and the opportunities that are presenting itself and educating myself on them. That's what I would have told myself.
I like it. That's really good. I shared my last words, but if I were to tell my earlier self is to diversify and don't be afraid. That's simple for me.
Yeah. And
I really appreciate like what we've been able to share and what you guys taught me, honestly, and then what you guys continue to share to other people. So the road is long and we're going in the right direction. So let's continue to do that.
Mm-hmm.
You feel me?
Amen.
Let's continue to do that.
Amen.
I hope you guys learned something. Thank you guys for tuning in. Please follow and subscribe at Darren the Share Podcast on all platforms.
Yes, sir.
Follow my boys, Kodi, O'Neal, on Instagram. Shout out to Kigoni. This episode is sponsored by Kigoni. This episode is sponsored by Kigoni.
Hey,
on Instagram. You get your face mask, your shirts, your shorts, everything.
The whole thing.
All of that.
Home
All of that.
grown
You're set.
Black business.
Yes.
Black owned.
O'Neal,
You know that.
please, Kenna, Genesis Gray, look him up. He produces music, and it'll change your life. And it'll put you in the mood for any situation.
Yes,
and
sir.
O'Neal, I appreciate you for all you've done, and you continue to chase your passions and being that example for a lot of people. And you're always authentically yourself. So you guys, please check out Genesis Gray.
Spotify, SoundCloud,
SoundCloud, Apple Music,
Music,
YouTube, all that. Thank you
love.
guys. Peace. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.